Let me start with a simple question. If the United States military trains its personnel to follow the law of war, why do politicians sometimes sound like they're auditioning to ignore it? Because during a March 13th briefing on the U.S.-Iran conflict, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth reportedly said, "No quarter, no mercy for our enemies." Now, if you're not fluent in medieval battlefield vocabulary, no quarter means refusing to accept surrender, which is a problem. Not because Americans are supposed to be soft in war. I'm a Desert Storm Marine. Trust me, that's not the issue. It's a problem because modern militaries operate under rules for a reason, and those rules are part of what separates a professional military from something much, much darker. Here's the deeper issue that most of the political commentary misses. The U.S. military spends enormous amounts of time training service members in the laws of armed conflict, the rules that govern how wars are fought. Why? Because discipline isn't weakness. It's the foundation of military professionalism. Those rules protect civilians. They protect prisoners of war. And they protect the moral authority of the military itself. But when political leaders casually toss around phrases like no quarter, they're flirting with the idea that those limits are optional. And that's where the real problem begins. Now watch what happens in the political reaction. Republicans will largely defend this statement because it came from someone in their administration. Democrats will roundly criticize it, but mostly as a partisan attack. And both sides end up missing the underlying issue. This isn't about one party or one politician. It's about a political culture that rewards performative toughness over serious leadership. Because saying something dramatic in a briefing gets headlines. Talking about discipline, restraint, and the rule of law doesn't. So the incentives push leaders toward rhetoric that sounds strong, even when it undermines the very principles that make American institutions credible. And here's where this subject matters beyond foreign policy. When politicians start treating the law as optional overseas, they usually don't rediscover their love of legal limits once they get back home. The same mentality shows up in domestic politics too. You see it when state governments override local control. You see it when politicians try to ban books, dictate what communities can teach, or preempt decisions made by local voters. Different issues, same instinct. Power first, limits later, if ever. But the whole point of a constitutional government is the opposite. Power is supposed to operate inside limits, not outside of them. And this matters here in Texas for a very practical reason. A lot of Texas's sons and daughters volunteer for the military. I did. Those service members are expected to operate with an incredible discipline under difficult conditions, including following the laws of war. The last thing they need is politicians casually undermining the very rules that they're expected to uphold. Because the strength of the U.S. military doesn't come from reckless rhetoric. It comes from professionalism, from discipline, and from the rules of law. And this is where I part ways with both of the parties. Republicans often treat strong rhetoric as proof of strength. Democrats often treat criticism as just another partisan weapon. But the real issue isn't who said it. It's the principle underneath it. Because power without limits is dangerous, no matter who holds it. And the rule of law isn't a weakness. It's the line in the sand that keeps a powerful government from becoming something else entirely.